Hey everybody, Sunday night, going to recap the week up and just want to comment on some of the Flipgrids that I saw a lot of people talked about concept questions and retell. Those are the two biggies that was similar between all of your posts. Concept questions, you do not want to further lead them with any questions, but you can ask clarifying questions like tell me more or what did you mean by that? But really concept questions are just for the students or just for you to know what the students know, because we know prior knowledge has such an impact on comprehension. Second, the retell is more for you as a teacher, again, for instructional practices. It's not part of the finding an instructional level in the QRI. It's about what the student can do and what the student can't do and what you can do in the classroom to help that student. Looking at the narratives, can they sequence a story? Do they know beginning, middle, end? Do they know rising action, climax, falling action, resolution? I mean, at the elementary, you don't have to have all those terms, but can they kind of follow that sequence and know those different things that are happening? Also, as the expository text, can they find the main idea of the story and back it up with details? Those are the big ideas of finding or knowing and using a retell. For the QRI itself, I think a lot of you had never done it before, so I'm glad you got a taste at it, and we are going to be practicing it more in the next couple of weeks with different level students. As far as your discussions and the readings for the week, we focused on phonics and what we would do with our ELL students. A lot of you had the same resonating theme of we come together as a group of teachers and student administrators or student leaders to do the best for our students, no matter who they are. If they're monolingual, bilingual, multilingual, students with special needs, are students that have emotionally situations that are in need of help, we do what we need to do for all students and find their potential, which I really enjoyed reading your posts about that. Multimodalities, another big one to help students learn with academic discourse. There's been a lot of research around that, of being able to have students talk about what they're thinking, talk about what they're learning using academic language. Not only was it found in our readings, but that's being researched in many other academic areas as well. And then the whole idea of having them even speak in their home language, which helps them then speak in English in academic areas. The other thing that was talked about a lot was looking at the assessments and analyzing the assessments. And we know that the teachers don't always have the time to look at the MISCUE analysis. However, that is a big indicator for teachers to find out what students are doing, where they need help, and what they're using and what they're not using as far as reading. And that's just a mindset shift, and that's also a time management shift as well. Peek ahead for next week will be, we're going to do QRI again. I have a high school student that I actually did a couple years ago, and what I want you to do with that is you're going to listen to it. I have all the recordings on there. I did break up the passage into part 1 and part 2 just because I needed to stop my recorder. User error here, I did not record the concept questions, so you will not have those. Sorry about that. And then I did provide word lists, so we're going to look at the word list and then find out where we come in at a level to start him off with reading. Then what we'll do with that is I'll have you do a Flipgrid and just kind of talk about your comments, your questions, your concerns, and listening to another student. And this would be an older student compared to Devontae, who is at the other side of the spectrum here, is that very young student. And then we'll have a time, your assignment will be to look at an instructional program or strategy in your school, or something that you want to look at as to bring into your school for interventions, or tier 1 or tier 2, tier 3. Probably you're looking more tier 2 and tier 3 interventions. And I have a big folder on Moodle that has some articles in there and also a little at a glance of different interventions for different tiers in different reading categories, such as basic reading, reading fluency, reading comprehension. What we want you to do is take a look at that, find out the research behind it, and there's some steps that you're going to need to walk through as for the assignment. We're going to look at What Works Clearinghouse as well as Center for Intensive Intervention. And as you see in the folder, it'll walk you through that. So you know a little bit more about what to prepare for the assignment, and you'll drop that in. I need to make this clear too. On the syllabus, I had said that on the assignments you're going to comment on 2 other people's assignments. I changed that at the last minute and forgot to change it in my syllabus. So you're not going to need to do that for any of the assignments. They're all just Dropbox assignments. We're we're more focusing on the discussions and having time to comment on people's discussions. And the discussion readings for this week will focus on fluency. It's kind of a big week. We've got some stuff to get done as this is almost halfway over already. So I hope you guys had a great week. My conference was wonderful. It was probably one of the better conferences I've been to. And it was great to see that an academic area of science was really focused on literacy and really even talked about that quite a bit. So it was pretty exciting to see that as well. Hope you guys have a great week.